Opinions. I'm your host, Estevan and here with me today is our special guest, Coulter Barnes.
No, I am also your host. And I will be here every week. I'm not a special guest.
I mean, I don't know about that. I feel like I am the one and only true host.
Sure. You can tell yourself that. So, I have a terrible joke for you. Want to hear it?
Yes, let's hear it.
So, what do you call security guards working outside Samsung shops?
Tell me, I don't know.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah, because got it.
Yeah,
I feel like I could have figured that one out. Yeah, that one was good.
maybe. Yeah, but that really leads into what I wanted to talk about today, which is Marvel. How do you feel about the whole Phase 4 and everything? Shows and movies.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm really excited about the Disney Plus shows. So actually there was a report the other day that Wanda and Vision is still gonna be released at the same time, late 2020. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it's not being pushed back because of COVID.
And I can't remember, was the Black Widow movie supposed to come out already, or was it?
Yes, it was supposed to come out this summer, but because of movie theaters being closed and all that, it keeps getting pushed back.
That's fair. And I'm actually really excited to see what they do because, the whole Infinity Saga is done. So, it'll be cool to see what they kind of lead into now,
Yeah.
And I mean, they have, what is it? Well, they have all the, like, these sequels coming out for these movies that were really good, like Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange, all of that stuff. And I think that'll be really fun to see and watch.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm excited to see Thor in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That should be interesting.
Is he gonna be in that? I know there was like some speculation that he might not be, depending on what the director wanted to do.
Now, I mean, there was that teaser at the end of Endgame, so I would assume so.
Yeah, that's the thing. But like I said, it's up to the director because it's a different director than the Russo brothers who directed Endgame. So, I mean, I'm sure he'll probably add it because they had that teaser. Because then it would just kind of, I don't know, it would be pointless to have that there.
Yeah. Did you hear that? So the Doctor Strange sequel, they said that it's gonna be a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, Marvel. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be super horror.
Well, it's gonna be in the genre of a horror movie. Like all the other Marvel movies have been action movies, and they said that Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness is going to be a horror movie. I mean, it's going to be PG-13, so it won't be it won't be too scary, but like, I think it's interesting that to see that play out.
Well, I think the villain, I can't remember his name, but he's like a dream or
Mordu, right?
Yes, Mordu. That's what his name is. And he lives in this dream, like he haunts your dreams, kind of like the boogeyman. And so he's more of a horror, like he gets your deepest fears. So that would make sense why it's a horror movie. And isn't Wanda supposed to be in it?
Yes. WandaVision is supposed to lead into it. Because if you've seen the WandaVision trailers, obviously something not right is happening. One, Vision's alive, and then two, everything is just wrong. Like it looks like a classic '90s sitcom. Like, you know, have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I have just a little bit of it, but I get what you're saying. Where it's supposed to, so WandaVision is supposed to lead into that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like the first season will lead into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I wonder how they can keep it going, like do multiple seasons if that's the case, because if the Vision's dead um and it's supposed to be a movie about, or a show about Wanda and Vision, and then in the movie they realize that it's, I guess, a dream or something like that, then it's a problem maybe.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with it. Maybe it only is one season, and they just come out with a different show. Like, I mean, that wouldn't be the worst thing for them to do.
I mean, yeah, probably not, but I don't know, it just seems weird to have like a one season show, I think. For the most part you usually have multiple seasons.
Yeah, but like the difference between this and most shows is most shows aren't connected to like the movies. Like, I mean, obviously they're so like for Clone Wars, that is technically canon and part of the Star Wars universe, right? But if you haven't seen the Clone Wars, it doesn't affect anything. But for this, you really need to see WandaVision to
Get
know what's going on in Doctor Strange too.
well, but also at the same time, if you think about it, um the way they release the Star Wars movies is that like it doesn't really affect, like they do mention the Clone Wars in the original trilogy. I'm pretty sure uh Obi-Wan Kenobi mentions it in
He
the
does.
original trilogy, but for the most part it it, like the way it was released, it doesn't really matter, like you're saying. And the way all of these Marvel movies are released is they're all connected to each other,
Mm-hmm.
so in a way they all matter to each other.
Right.
So you know.
Yeah. So the show, like, if it only is one season, like, um, that it would just basically be a really long movie, MCU movie,
Yeah,
is a way they could do it. But maybe they do figure out a way to make a season two. I mean, it is Marvel and Disney; they know how to make money.
true. It's just hard because there's no way you can bring Vision back really, because the Mind Stone is destroyed in the um their timeline, and they already took it. They already took the Mind Stone they borrowed back, so it doesn't really matter, I
Yeah.
guess, because you can't. I mean, you can't bring back Vision, so it,
Yeah. So um, they maybe with Wanda's powers that she's able to bring him back, and in Infinity War they said that he didn't need the Mind Stone to be able to live. That's what Shuri was trying to do, remove it safely.
but that's the source of his powers.
Not all his powers. It it it
What power?
is it is a big part of his powers, but um, who knows? Well, so Wanda's powers came from the Mind Stone, so maybe she'll be able to somehow keep him um doing what he would normally be able to do. Like they said that they're really gonna explore the depths of her powers in the show.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could see that because her powers did come from the Mind Stone in the MCU. Normally she's a mutant, like in the comics and stuff, but because she's not part of that mutant universe, like that, she's not part of the X-Men universe, and Marvel didn't own that at the time. They had to do the Mind Stone powers, so I get what you're saying. And honestly, I think she's one of the most overpowered characters in the MCU.
She's definitely one of the strongest, if not the strongest Avenger. So you know more about the comics than I do, but I'm pretty sure in the comics her powers are even more powerful than they are in the MCU. Like she could basically rewrite reality.
Um, well, it's a mutant ability, so she can't really rewrite reality. I mean,
Oh well, so wasn't there the what was it called? House of Madness or something like that. It
multiverse of
was
madness? Or what are you talking about?
no. So in the comics, where there's like a comic series where she basically rewrites the entire Marvel universe, comic universe, and like she does a bunch of crazy stuff, and like it's basically like Flashpoint. I mean, if yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know too much about that particularly, but I do know like the older comics. Kind of when she was like the older original Marvel Avenger comics. Where she's a part of that, and she has so she's same thing. She's still with Vision. That stayed the same, but I think her powers, like she can control the minds of people. Um, you're right. Their powers are more powerful in the comics than the MCU.
He's
As
fast,
of
she's
right
weird.
exactly. But so you're right. In the comics, she is more powerful. I don't know about that powerful. That could be a thing that happened, but for the most part, um, I don't. I think she's I think her powers are mostly the same, just a little more powerful. In the comics.
Yeah. Yeah, I think typically, so I read this I don't remember when, but I was reading about this online, and so yeah, I don't remember what it was called. It was House of something, and basically I'm not sure if it was Vision who died. Maybe I think it was her kids. Her kids were killed, and so she basically rewrote reality to bring them back, but it messed up everything, and it was a big deal, big thing.
Uh-huh. So that could make sense because she's a good guy. Well, at first she's with Magneto in the comics, so she's like a bad guy, and then she joins.
Yeah, that's like so. In the MCU, they replaced Magneto with Ultron. How she was first with Ultron.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But then she joins the Avengers, so that would make sense if like her kids died and then she used the full potential of her power.
Yes. So like some theories that I've seen are so like they might play out that storyline, but obviously in the MCU she doesn't have kids, but Vision did die, so maybe that's what caused her to snap and go crazy
Mm-hmm. Well, I
and
don't think right now they're gonna do that. From what it looks like, they have a plan for something. But like you said, they're gonna explore her power. But I don't think right now she's snapped or anything, and she's gonna rewrite reality
well
because it just doesn't seem like that's the way it's going right now.
like obviously right now like from based on the trailer that's not like real life like so my theory is that she created a little fantasy world where Vision was still alive and like you know
Oh, that could be that actually makes sense.
Mhm.
However,
I don't think I think she probably doesn't realize she did this or intended to do this. Like just she'll um probably just like wake up and in this world in this like 90s uh TV sitcom with Vision, and then slowly throughout the show they'll realize something's not right here, and then my theory is by the end of it it she realizes that she was the one that created it because of it.
okay. But then how would that lead into the multiverse of madness? Would it because she created that or
Yes, yeah. So I think that because she created that, it's like messing with things in the real world, and so Doctor Strange, who like deals with the mystical arts, will notice and be like, "Uh-oh," and
not I mean, I can see that. That actually is a I can see that. That makes sense with what you're saying. Cuz but I feel like she would have maybe done that already before Endgame. In some way like if she snapped and just released all her power cuz like
so she got snapped away, correct? In Infinity War.
uh-huh.
So
She got
she
snapped away.
just came back. During Endgame is when she came back.
Yes, but like it was after like they were Tony like she went to the funeral and everything. So and there wasn't really an indication that she was snapping. Like she had a conversation with Rhodey? No. Who was it? No, Hawkeye. She had a conversation with Hawkeye and so it just seemed like she wasn't on the verge of snapping or anything.
Yeah, maybe Tony's death and Tasha's death are what are like the extra straw that broke the camel's back. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know. 'Cause clearly something's going on in uh WandaVision. Like, why is Vision there, and why is it not the real world? So I don't know. I I
No,
mean,
that
my
makes
theories
sense.
my theory definitely has like some things I can't answer, questions I can't answer with it. But like I think maybe something along those lines, not exactly that, but like she something to do with her powers and her not being able to deal with the loss of vision.
That's a pretty sound theory. I think it sounds pretty good. Um, and how do you think they'll get? Because there's Thor, Love and Thunder, and then there's the Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And if they have Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, um, he comes back for Love and Thunder, right? So there's got to be something that happens in that time,
Yeah,
right?
it's the timeline isn't making a lot of sense. Um, I have no theories about that. I think we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Now, do you feel like Natasha's death went a little unappreciated?
No, well, so I mean, they couldn't really have a funeral considering they didn't have um, her her remains. I mean, so I think I think for Tony's funeral they were mourning both Tony and Natasha, but Tony's the one that had a body present, so like they didn't a have a casket for Natasha because they didn't have Natasha.
They never showed a casket though. They just
Or yeah, they just showed Tony's um,
proof
arc
that Tony
reactor.
Stark had the heart. But that's
Hmm.
the old arc reactor. That's the one
Right,
from the first
right,
movie.
right.
So,
Um, yeah, so I think that they were mourning both of them. I think that they just showed Tony's in the movie because that Like that was the big one for the movie. Like, but I think in universe, the funeral was for both of them, not just Tony.
Now, how do you feel about Natalie Portman becoming Thor in Love and Thunder?
I not sure how that's gonna work. It's
Well,
really it's weird that they decided to bring back Natalie Portman after she wasn't even in Thor 3.
Well, there wasn't really a way to have her in Thor 3 because she lives on Earth and he never went to Earth.
He did though, and to
Well,
get
one time.
Odin.
But they said they broke up, so that's
Yeah,
probably why.
Yeah,
Because in the comics, there is a female Thor. Like, a girl becomes Thor.
Right.
But my only question is, how would she become Thor? Because Mjolnir is destroyed.
Yeah. I don't know how that's gonna work. I trust in what's the director's name? He directed
Taika Waititi.
Yes, I don't know how to
I
pronounce
like him a
name.
lot.
Yeah.
I actually like him.
He helped direct the Mandalorian, correct?
I believe so. He also directed Thor Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Have you ever seen?
Thor Ragnarok is my favorite MCU movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's one of the best. And then have you ever seen Jojo Rabbit?
I have not.
Okay. Well, he directed that and he acts in that too. So he's, I think he's really good. Oh, and he plays the rock creature.
Yes.
Korg.
What?
Right? What's his name? Korg?
Yeah, Korg. Yeah. So I think I trust him as the director. I think it will be funny and that he'll be able to figure out how it works and everything. I think just right now I can't envision how it's going to work, but when it does come out, I think it will probably be good because of who the director is.
I mean, based off the comics, it's right because there becomes a female Thor. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I don't know how that happens because she has Mjolnir in the comics, and there is no Mjolnir.
Right.
In the MCU right now.
Right. Yeah. Because
I don't know. Well, it could maybe work. Like he's in with the Guardians of the Galaxy. He goes back to that planet or the dying star, not planet, and makes it again for whatever reason or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you hear that Valkyrie might have a female?
I did hear
partner?
Yes, a female love interest. I did hear that.
She would become the first LGBTQ person in the MCU. No, not first. Wrong. I'm wrong.
Yeah, because in Endgame,
first superhero.
First superhero, yes.
Joe Russo, one of the directors, was gay in that scene where they were like doing a support group.
Right? Yes.
So she's the first superhero.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we should probably. Yeah. I think that. Yeah, I did hear that, and the actress that does play Valkyrie is LGBT. What are the letters?
LGBTQ.
Yes, LGBTQ in real life, correct?
I believe so. I believe she's bi, maybe.
Yes, that's.
So,
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And then Spider-Man 3 is also supposed to be part of Phase 4, correct?
I believe so. I know there was a lot of problems with Sony, like not giving Spider-Man back or something. Like they couldn't decide on a contract, so it was up in the air. But I think there's a Spider-Man 3 in the works. I think it's Sinister 6, maybe.
I don't know when it's set to release, but I know that Marvel and Sony came to agreement. So in Spider-Man Far From Home, spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't seen it, although it's been out for a while, so I think we're good. So at the end of it, the whole world found out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and he was also accused of being the one, being the one who attacked Europe with all
London.
with the drones.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think is going to happen with that?
Well, I don't know exactly. I think the next movie is going to be the Sinister Six. I think Vulture is going to be back because remember he met at the end of Homecoming. He
Scorpion.
he went to prison and met Scorpion. So I think it's going to be the Sinister Six, in my opinion, are going to come after him.
So I don't think they're going to use the Sinister Six for Spider-Man 3. I think they're going to wait because like with Amazing Spider-Man, the reason that fell apart was because they tried to do Sinister Six too early. So I think they're going to keep building up to that and eventually have a big event with it. I don't think it will be the third Spider-Man movie that they do that.
Maybe. But then who do you think the main villain will be? Dr. Octopus?
So let's see. Have there been six Sinister Six members to show up yet? There were Shocker, Vulture, Scorpion, Mysterio. Yeah. He might still be alive. I think he's probably still alive.
Probably.
Because the way Peter Parker phrased his question to Edith was very poor. He's asked, "Are all illusions finished, or like, is this real?" I think is what he said. And Edith responded by saying, "There are no more illusions." But she never said that Mysterio was dead. So I think he's still alive.
Okay. And then so you're probably right. And then so it could be Dr. Octopus or I can't remember his name, Lizard something.
I think in Spider-Man 3 there might go with they might include Osborn because so if you remember in Homecoming, Happy Hogan was saying that they were selling the Stark Tower.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's theories that it was sold to Norman Osborn. And
that makes sense because Harry Osborn is a big part of the Spider-Man universe, and so is the Green Goblin. So that actually makes sense.
Right. Yeah. There's two theories about who purchased the Stark Tower. The two big ones are it's either Norman Osborn or it's Reed Richards, and that might be how they introduced the Fantastic Four.
They've tried a ton of times to get the Fantastic Four, and it just hasn't worked.
Well, but they've never done it in the MCU, and like eventually they are going to include the Fantastic Four in the MCU at some point.
True.
But I prefer the theory that it's Norman Osborn that purchased it.
That makes sense. Because well, they just never made like a mention of Reed Richards. Like, I feel like they could have mentioned him because he'd be a very high-profile scientist at this point, like a genius.
Yeah,
I feel like they would have mentioned him.
The thing is, they didn't have the rights to him at that point.
True.
Because they hadn't bought Fox yet. Disney hadn't bought Fox yet.
That's true.
So yeah, I think so. I really liked Homecoming and Far From Home, but I do wish they had included Harry Osborn because I really like Harry as a character, as Spider-Man's best friend. I mean, Ned's great. He's funny. He's a good comedic relief, but Harry as a character is just one of the classic Spider-Man characters.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Like I like Ned. I thought he was a good addition, but at the same time, you're right. Harry's one of those classic Spider-Man characters that you need to have. So it's kind of so hopefully you're right. They'll add him in the future. So
I also heard that in Spider-Man 3, there's going to be a Gwen Stacy.
yeah, really.
Yeah, I heard that they're.
She's also a big part of the MCU. Like she died, or not MCU, but Spider-Man, right? She dies in the Spider-Man universe, and it kind of like helps motivate Peter even more to do good. Oh,
yeah, I don't think they're. I think they're gonna go a different route because they've gone a different route with all the characters so far. But like I think it will probably be to create like a love triangle with MJ, Peter, and Gwen. Just because like right now, MJ and Peter's relationship is too happy for it to be interesting, like from a movie going standpoint.
That's true.
I think they'll probably do something to add drama to it.
Yeah, you're probably right. I also wonder, how did you feel about him already having his powers by his first movie, like
I
Homecoming?
like that. I did not want to see Uncle Ben die for the 80th time.
True. That is true. Although I do like his story, you know, how he gets his powers and stuff. I do like that story.
Yeah, it's just been done too many times. They're like,
That's
all right,
true.
you guys all know how he got it. Just let's get into actual interesting story now. Let's
That's
not
true.
redo what's already been done.
That's true, and I thought they did a really good job with that overall. Because you're right, they do it. They do it so much that it's good to just kind of get a new story in there. Um, and how do you how do you feel about the whole Hawkeye series? Do you think he should have gotten his own solo movie first, or do you like the idea of him getting a show first?
I think it's hard to make a solo Hawkeye movie. Um, it would the stakes wouldn't be very high considering Hawkeye. I love Hawkeye. Hawkeye is a great character, but like he is the weakest Avenger, so it would be hard to make a feature length movie
And if you think about
starring
it,
Hawkeye.
he's mainly known for being in the Avengers, like throughout the comics and stuff, and he doesn't really have a villain.
Right. Yeah,
So it'd be hard.
and during the MCU, he was always a part of Shield, and so like it would never make sense for it to just be only him. So
But then
like,
how would they do a show?
well, so they're gonna do it with him and his daughter. It's like him training her to become the next Hawkeye.
Because in the comics, he becomes Ronin, like he did in Endgame. But and a girl does become Hawkeye, but it's not his daughter.
Right,
But right now it's makes sense to do his daughter.
Yeah, the MCU has always deviated from the comics. They don't do it exactly. They
Yeah,
take inspiration, but they tell their own story.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good. It's just like I think it adds a little because he's gonna have that emotional attachment to his daughter and like want to
Right.
protect her more versus in the comics, he's a little more detached. Like he trains this girl, but he's not as emotionally invested.
Right. Yes. So I think uh think we've talked enough about the MCU for today. I think we should probably move away from that. I think that was a good in-depth dive into Phase 4. But I wanted us to talk just like about our lives for just a little bit. Like anything interesting happening with you? Anything?
Well, like I told you the other day, I got a new dog. He's a golden doodle. Named him Oliver, and
Ollie.
yep, we call him Ollie. He's a lot of fun. And I mean, I gave him a bath before this actually, and he doesn't like it, and he scratched me up like crazy.
Oh man.
So, but yeah, and he bites like a little monster. He
I like how you showed the scratch, like the people listening can see it. That
I don't even know
was
if
like,
you can see it anymore. It was kind of bad earlier.
well, they're only gonna hear our voices. They can't see you showing me your scratch.
Yeah, but I was showing you. I
Yeah.
don't care what those people think.
Oh man, you just probably not the best idea to say you don't care about our fans there, Coulter.
Well, I mean, what fans?
Oh yeah, that is a very good point. I mean,
No, I'm just kidding.
I
But
don't believe anyone is listening.
no. But he bites like a little piranha, but you know, he's a lot of fun. He's sweet, and he's something to do. He's preoccupying this quarantine, and makes it a little less boring.
Dogs are the best.
Yeah, for sure.
I
How
probably
about you?
shouldn't. I probably hold on one second. I probably shouldn't say this on the internet because it's gonna make a lot of people mad. But I'm cats are evil. Just saying. Like they're secretly planning to take over the world. Dogs are superior.
I wouldn't say superior. They're just friendlier.
They're dogs are the best.
The difference between dogs and cats is, um, I feel like cats think they're gods, and dogs think we're gods. So
You're
that's the
talking about
difference.
that meme. Yeah, I've seen that
What
one
meme?
where it's
What
like
meme?
a dog and it's like they're talking about humans. It's like they feed me, they take care of me, they love me, they must be gods. And then it's a cat and it's like they feed me, they take care of me, they love me, I must be a god.
Oh, yeah, pretty much like that. Exactly.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um,
I think I'll
so
include a link to that in our show notes.
okay,
Yeah.
that you can do that.
Yeah.
But no, dogs are super sweet. He always wakes up super excited. Like when I wake up in the morning and come down, he's super excited to see me. Like it's funny, he wags his tail so fast that his butt starts moving. Like it's like his butt shaking instead of just his tail wagging because he
Yeah.
gets so excited, and it's
Yeah,
super
that's
cute.
funny.
Yeah. So what's been up with you?
Yeah, so like you know, I'm my family's currently building a house so we can um it's only a few minutes from where we currently live, but it's just a bigger, nicer house that fits our family better. Like we definitely have outgrown our current house. So uh so just yesterday and well for you guys listening, a couple of days ago, people so we're showing our house right now. We've already gotten one offer. We just put it on the market yesterday, from the time of this recording, and we've already gotten one offer. Three people have looked at it. Two more are going to look at it today. So yeah, it's a lot of people are interested.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is. It's been a very crazy. A lot of cleaning that we've had to do, just getting everything ready. It's a lot of work. probably not the best time for me to be starting a podcast.
Probably not, but
Yeah.
who knows? We had to do the same thing, not as much as you to clean up, but we had to do the same thing for my dog. Just clean up all the little stuff he could get into. So that was kind of not as much work as you're doing, obviously, but a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So yesterday, another thing I learned is editing a podcast is hard. Like all we have to do is add intro and outro music, and it doesn't seem like it would be complicated, but it is. Like, oh my gosh, you have no idea how much time I spent yesterday editing our pilot episode. Like
Yeah,
just trying to figure out the apps and stuff. Like I think I might be a boomer.
Well, this is just a lot of work in general because like if you think about it, we have to figure out we've never done anything like this, and we just got to figure out how to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how to do any of it either.
Yeah.
But who cares? Yeah, and then I've recently been watching a lot of sitcoms over this quarantine, and I'm currently watching New Girl.
Never heard of it.
It's not bad. I guess you could consider it more of a girly show. I mean, it's kind of it's just whatever you're into, but I actually kind of enjoy it. But I've been getting into like I've watched Community, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Office. What else have I watched? I think that's all I've watched. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of sitcoms over quarantine. So
Nice. Yeah. What have I been doing in this quarantine? I've been working out. Go running in the mornings, 3 mile run. I've been listening to been watching YouTube, listening to a podcast, Popcorn Culture, which we talked about in our pilot. Shout out to them. Go check them out. Yeah, it's been a weird summer, very weird summer.
yeah, it really has. It's this whole pandemic thing is just really thrown because I mean most of the summers I'm lazy, but I'm also out doing stuff like I normally go to the gym and work out. It's been a little weird during quarantine to work out. Like I haven't been doing it as much as I should. I have a little more motivation to go to the gym because
It definitely is. I've been working out in my garage. We have a Bowflex machine, but it's just it's not the same. Like it's just so much better to like have people around you working out to just like, all right, I'm motivated. Let's do this.
And I go to a gym that like helps with sports and stuff, and so like I have a coach there that really helps and motivates me and gets me specific workouts that I like to do. So it's a little weird in quarantine. I'm a little less motivated because everyone's kind of lazy. So it's weird. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So what do you think of the school schedule, like the plan they have, the hybrid model? What's your opinion on that?
I think it's good because honestly, in-person school is better than online school. Having a little taste of that going into this summer, I had to do a little bit of online school, and I like in-person school better because I get to meet people, see my friends, talk to teachers easier, like communicate better. But I also think it's really hard with this because kids aren't going to social distance.
Right, yeah.
It's going to be hard. Kids are going to remove their masks or not wear them. It's hard to, if you have to wear a mask, it's hard to wear one all day. A large percentage of the teaching population is older and more at risk. So it's really difficult to do the in person, I think. So,
yeah, I think they're doing the best possible thing. Like, no plan's gonna be perfect, but like in theory, this should work. But it will take a lot of have to make sure that everyone's on board with it for it to work.
For sure, for sure. And that's the thing. There are people that don't believe in it or don't want to do it. And like I said, as kids, we're not going to social distance. Like if I saw you, the chances I went over and high-fived you are high.
I would back up. I'd be like,
well, yeah.
Coulter, get away from me. I don't
I
know
know,
where you've
like
been.
I respect it and I understand it. It's just like hard, you know, like if I see my friend, I'm gonna want to go and say,
No, I got you. Yeah, it's been so hard, um, like not being able to be around my grandparents because I don't want to risk them getting sick. Like, it's just hard.
exactly.
Yeah. So it's really been weird. Like, uh, what's something that like you've really missed during quarantine? Like,
What? Um, Honestly, just hanging out with people.
yeah,
I never thought I'd say this, but I missed school. Um, Mostly for the interacting with people. Not necessarily the learning.
yeah,
Because you know, I miss hanging out with my friends and going to see them every day, and it's just hard
yeah,
because I can't do anything.
right,
Um,
yeah. Yeah. I
so
really miss sports. That's my big thing. Um, yeah. So like I play baseball and basketball, and like we've haven't been able to practice for school. No, nothing. Like last year's baseball season uh, got canceled, and yeah, it's been tough not having that. And yeah,
well, for sure, for sure. I completely understand. It's been hard not doing hockey too. And honestly, watching sports. I never thought I'd miss watching sports so much.
yeah. Speaking of that, baseball. Just opening night was last night. Uh,
Really?
it was Yankees and Nationals and Dodgers and Giants. Um, yeah, so that's back, and then the NBA is restarting on the 30th officially. Like
Uh-huh.
they've been having scrimmages this week, but
July
it's
30th?
yes officially back on the 30th or yeah the 30th. I'm really excited for that. I think they said they're gonna have like 7 or 8 games a day. It's gonna be basically like March Madness.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Hockey is also back August 1st.
nice.
And they're doing like a round robin thing. Um, so it's like 24 teams that can try and make it in. And they're having like 5 or 6 games a day too. So it's pretty rapid fire they're trying to get through. They should be done by September, maybe.
Oh wow, yeah,
Like the end
that's
of September.
yeah. The NBA, the playoffs will be done at the latest October 13th, which also happens to be my birthday. So
Oh
that would
yeah.
be awesome to see the NBA finals on my birthday. Like,
That
watch it
would be
on TV.
that would be awesome. Who would you want to win out of the people you think are gonna make it?
Um, so the my team are the Phoenix Suns, but they don't have
There's
a
no way
really
they're making it.
they aren't gonna realistically make the playoffs. They don't really have a shot. Um, I am a huge fan of Zion. He I'm also a Duke fan, huge Duke fan, and uh, so Zion went to Duke, so I'm a big Zion fan. He's probably my favorite current player in the NBA. I have a
Mm.
Zion jersey. So I'm rooting for the Pelicans, but even if they do make the playoffs, they don't have a great shot at advancing past the first round because they'll have to go up against the Lakers. So out of the teams that realistically could win, I'm rooting for the Bucks. I want Giannis to get himself a ring.
Okay. I'm gonna say I'm going for the Lakers. Or the Pelicans.
The Lakers. I do not like the Lakers. Yeah,
King James.
We kind of have a. I am a fan of LeBron, but I've never liked the Lakers. Like when I was growing up, during the Steve Nash era of the Suns, they had a pretty big rivalry with the Lakers. Nash and Kobe, like we always faced each other. So
Yeah, but didn't Steve Nash play for the Lakers?
he did end up going to the Lakers at the very end of his career for like one season, maybe two. But it was after like he wasn't in his prime anymore. Yeah.
But he still went to the Lakers. How'd that feel?
I was not happy about that.
Doesn't sound like you were. Yeah, but there's nothing you can do about it.
I have a question for you, Coulter.
Okay.
How many holes does a straw have?
2.
2, or is it just one hole that goes all the way through?
Wait a minute.
I saw this on Reddit. Someone asked this question. It was like, how many holes does a straw have? 0, 1, or 2? And I'm like,
well, if you're talking about ends, there's 2. Wait, so it depends, because a hole can be, so like, a hole where if you dig a hole and there's no end, like it's just one opening.
right.
If you're looking at it that way, there's 2 openings. But if you're talking about a hole that goes straight through something, then it's 1 hole. There's just 2 openings. It's 1 hole, 2 openings.
1
Final
hole,
answer.
2 openings. Yeah, I think, but say you poke a hole in the side of the straw. Does that change anything? Now how many holes are there?
I'm gonna say that does change. Because there's a different, and I think it does. I think there's more than 1 hole.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw that on Reddit and I was like, wait, huh? Yeah, I would normally say like that a straw has 2 holes, but then when I thought about it, I was like, or is it 1 hole that goes all the way through?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good spot to end it, leaving everyone confused about straws.
Yep, that sounds about right.
It's been about an hour, so
yeah.
See you guys in the next episode.
Remember, you can email us anything you need, questions, suggestions, anything you want to.
Yeah. Our email is weekendpodcast@gmail.com. That is WEAKEND, or Weekend Opinions. My bad. I messed it up. Forget that. Weekend Opinions Podcast at gmail.com. And that is WEAKEND Opinions Podcast at gmail.com. So just if you have any questions, suggestions, comments, just feel free to send it to us. And hopefully we'll be able to address it next episode. Our email will also be in the show notes. So if you look there, our email should be there. See you guys next time.